What's up, you guys? We got a quick little 13 minutes of mobility to go through today after the Strong for Jordan fundraiser. We're going to be probably a little tender, maybe a little tight after all the running and cycling. So this is just kind of meant to serve as a cool down, way to work on loosening up some of the muscles that we just used, and just kind of a way to relax a little bit. So it's not going to take super long, but follow along. I'll lead you through. This will all be pretty basic stuff. You guys will know a lot of these things. So just follow along, kind of make it your own, and here we go. We're going to start with a deep lunge. We're going to go 1 minute per side. Okay, so I got my right foot back, got my left foot forward, and I'm just going to do a little bit of moving around here. So I'll start with my knee on the ground, just kind of doing some circles through my hips, pushing my hips forward, then off to the side and then back. Just little circles here just to kind of get some movement going on. We're going to do 1 minute here, then we're going to switch and do 1 minute on the other side. I like to switch up sometimes. Keeping that back leg locked out can help put a little bit further stretch on the front of the hip, so you guys can work on that. Lift that back knee up, do some circles there. Maybe it feels a little bit different. If you'd like to put your back knee on the ground, drop down to your elbows, you can do that. You got about 15 more seconds on this side. A few more circles here. All right, you guys, let's switch it up. My left foot's back, my right foot's forward. Again, I'm going to start out with my left knee on the ground, just kind of an easier way to get into it. No need for it to be a big, crazy, intense feeling stretch. We're just looking for a little bit of tension. Move your hips from side to side. Do some gentle circles through your hips. Now I'm going to go up, lift that back leg up. Work on squeezing, so whichever leg is back behind me, I work on squeezing that side of my butt. Putting that glute on tension helps to just further the stretch just a little bit. So you kind of flex, push your hip down, and then back off tension. So we got about 15 more seconds here. Then we're going to move into the couch stretch next. So I'm going to put one foot up against, or one shin up against the wall, and then I'm going to be in kind of a similar position to what I'm doing now. We'll talk about that as we get into it. All right, so I'm going to go left foot forward. I'm going to put my right knee back up against the wall. Okay. I'm gonna put my left foot out in front of me. We're gonna be here for 2 minutes. All right. So a couple things to think about. If this makes you cramp up, or if it just feels like really painful, or if it's just a really intense stretch, bring your knee a little bit further away from the wall. That'll help give you a little bit more room. If you can, try to put your shin all the way back to the wall, though. That will just give you a little bit of a deeper stretch. So when we're here, a couple things that we're trying to work on. Most importantly, we're trying to open up our hips. So if my butt is back towards the wall like this, it's kind of hard to do that. So I'm not getting any stretch there. So I think about pushing my hips forward and down, and then I squeeze the right side of my butt. So right now my right foot's on the wall. That's the side of my butt that I'm gonna flex. I'm gonna push, squeeze my right glute, push, hang out for a second, and then come back, push my hips back towards the wall. I push forward, open that hip, squeeze my glute to gain tension, and then sit back. We're gonna be here for 2 minutes. You guys can just think about going on and off tension like that as you work. So let your hips come back, relax off tension, push forward, squeeze a little bit, find that tension again. Back and forth a few times, you guys. If you guys ever go for a big long bike ride, this is a good one to do because your hip is constantly in this position when you're cycling, right? It never really opens up. So this is a good way to work on getting that range of motion back through it after all that time sitting in the saddle. Got about 20 seconds to go here, almost done. Then we're gonna switch it up and get the other side. All right, you guys, switch it up. So I got my left knee back, right foot comes forward. I'm just working on the same thing, other way. So I'm pushing my hips down and forward. Now I'm squeezing my left glute to find that tension. Hips go back towards the wall. You can feel those muscles go off tension. This is not strenuous when my butt's back like this, but when I push my hips forward and down, then I can feel that stretch in the front of my hip, down my leg and my quads, all the way up into my hip flexors. So just kind of work back and forth a few times. I didn't mention this at the start of the video, but I should have. Shame on me. We're gonna need a lacrosse ball, and you're gonna need some kind of weight. So I'm gonna use, I got some light dumbbells, and I got a little lacrosse ball here. It doesn't even have to be that heavy, but something. We're gonna sandwich our calf muscle. Put the lacrosse ball underneath it, put our calf on top of the ball, and then put the weight on top of our calf. We're gonna work on getting those muscles moving. It's a good one. It's a good one. So remember to use your glutes to push your hips forward. So I push my hips forward and down, squeeze my butt, and then I back off tension, push back into it. We got about 45 more seconds to go on this side. So the next one we're doing isn't as much of a stretch. It's just kind of, I guess, a massage for the muscles there. Last 15 seconds. So as always with these things, you guys, you can feel free to pause the video whenever you need and go get your equipment, or if you just need to take an extra second to set up, that's totally all good. So forgive my abruptness in the transitions on these things. I'm gonna sit on my butt, okay? I'm gonna grab my weight. I'm gonna grab my lacrosse ball. The weight goes underneath my calf. I'm sorry, the lacrosse ball goes underneath my calf and the weight goes on top of it. And I'm just using, so this is only a 10-pound dumbbell. It doesn't give me a ton of weight to push with, but I can kind of push down on it. I'm just looking to roll out the muscles between these two things. So I got the lacrosse ball underneath, I got the weight on top, and I'm just kind of moving the muscles around in between those two things. So I'm gonna do a few circles in one part of my calf, and then I'm gonna do a few circles at the other. Make sure that you're kind of favoring the back half here. We're looking to be on the muscle, so we don't want, if you're just on top of the shin bone, you're probably just gonna be grinding this thing into your shin, which might not feel so nice and not be so productive. So move around and feel what areas feel like they need the most work. You can usually feel like maybe it's the lower part of your calf or it's more at the top, whatever. Just do a little moving around and kind of feel what feels like it needs the most work to you. Sorry if all you guys have is some 50-pound dumbbells. This is gonna be horrible. We got about 1 more minute to go here. So as always, these kind of like deeper, more like massagey type mobility techniques, these aren't really good ones. I mean, they're good to get really deep into the muscle, but I would never really recommend these before you get into something intense. Like I wouldn't, if you're like, oh, I got tight calves, I'll start doing this before I run. I think that this is the kind of thing that you could probably actually get sore from, and it's not something that you'd want to do as like prep. I think you'd be best served by just doing some extra warming up, doing some, some movements that are going to involve getting the muscles moving and get blood flowing to them, but saving this more intense kind of like deep tissue-y stuff for afterwards or later in the day or at night or for like a specific mobility session or something like that. 10 more seconds, then we're switching sides. Make sure you guys are continually just kind of moving the ball around, scouring for areas that feel like they're a little bit tight. All right, let's switch. So again, you can kind of push down on the weight if you need. Maybe all you got is a big, heavy old dumbbell and you're not gonna need any extra assistance, but you could use a little bit more pressure here. We normally do this at the gym with a barbell. We'll kind of put the bar underneath this leg and let it sit right on top, and then you roll it back and forth. That does the trick. You feel what's going on there in a hurry. We got about 90 more seconds to go on this side. Keep moving the ball. If you feel like an area that you're working on doesn't feel like you're getting a lot of feedback, like it just kind of feels like, whatever, I'm not getting a lot of pressure, try moving it. See if you can find a different area that's going to be more worth your while. I mean, we're only spending 2 minutes here, which may feel like an eternity if you have really tight calves, but if you're not feeling much, try to scour for some areas that feel like they could use a little bit more attention. Try going low, like halfway down your shin. There's some stuff down there that might not get attended to as much as it should be. 30 seconds. We're just gonna do some basic stretches after this. This won't be anything too intense. We're gonna get into, next up I got my cheat sheet over here. We're gonna go into down dog, and we'll do pigeon, and then we're gonna finish up with child's pose. No big deal. Hope you guys keep in mind that even just these quick little sessions, even just like 10, 13, 15 minutes, whatever, even just 5 minutes, it all starts to add up. So try not to feel like you need to do a full hour-long crazy mobility session to do something that's going to create some change for you. All right, you guys, we're into down dog. We got a minute here. I gotta face this way so I can see my clock. All right, so do a little moving around. Try to focus on the legs that we just got done using. So I'm straightening out my left leg, bending my right, and then I go back and forth. So just nice and easy, focusing on letting those calves get some length into them. We got about 30 more seconds to go. You guys, we're getting into the pigeon stretch, so we're gonna go right foot forward first. I suppose you can do whatever side you want. It's all right, you do you. I'm gonna go right foot forward first. I'm gonna work on getting that shin perpendicular to my body, and I'm just gonna sit my hips down to the ground. I'm gonna walk my hands back to alongside my hips. I'm just gonna kind of hang out, okay? I'm gonna do this vertically. I feel like I get a little bit better stretch if I let my upper body kind of rest, putting pressure downward on my hips. If you guys want to fold forward, you can. We're only going to be here for a minute. If it helps to twist, you can kind of turn away from that leading leg, away from the knee, towards the foot. Try going the other way. All right, you guys, let's switch it up. My right foot comes back, whew, left foot comes forward. Set it up, get situated. Probably gonna feel a little different from side to side, or at least that's what I tell myself to make myself feel better about my lack of flexibility, my asymmetricalness. Roll onto the outside of that bottom hip, you can do that. Come up, maybe you walk your hands towards the foot, maybe you walk your hands towards the knee. Just see what feels best for you guys. Find, kind of move around and see what areas feel like they need the most work and give them some extra attention. So we got 10 more seconds and we're gonna finish this thing up in the best way we know how. Child's pose, we got a minute there. Oh, let's do this. All right, so knees go out wide, feet sit back over our heels, feet are together. I'm just stretching my arms out in front of me, just kind of chilling, just getting a little stretch, working on closing my hips down all the way. Get a little stretch to the ankles and the knees. I'm gonna shut up and let you guys get to it. We got about 45 seconds. All right, you guys, that takes us to the end. We did it. Another one in the books. Well done. Hope you guys are feeling good. Thanks for joining me. It's always awesome just to know that you guys are putting in a little bit of work on doing some of this stuff. It's again, it doesn't have to be a super long session to be worth the while. Sometimes we get the most return for the ones that we actually do, as opposed to just only waiting until we find like this perfect session, this full hour to do some mobility. just chip away and appreciate the little stuff that you can do when you can do it. And I think we'll all be better off for it. So that's it for this one. I'll see you guys next time.